Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline.
And Adam.
For Pixie Dust PhD. There's so much to do at Walt Disney World, and even though we really haven't gone together that many times as adults, I think even if we lived there and went regularly, there would still be things we'd want to do.
That's right. A place like Disney World with all the theme parks and hotels, the possibilities are endless.
So in today's video, we went ahead and imagined up our Walt Disney World specific bucket list. These are both items we think we will eventually get to on future trips, and also items we think we probably will never end up doing. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up to like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. Ring the bell icon for notifications whenever I post new videos. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our Walt Disney World bucket lists. We're going to begin with our bucket list for things that we think probably won't ever happen at Disney World, even if we want them to.
So for me, my one thing that I definitely am is I'm a pretty competitive person. So something that I always want to do is max out my score on Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger. I hear it's 999,999.
Mm-hmm. Galactic Star Hero, I think?
Yes, I would love that title to take that home with me. Just put it in my pocket, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. First of all, going in there, it's just tough to be the best. But it'd be really cool if it could happen, but I don't think it will.
I'm just really bad at that ride. I've watched enough videos to know which targets you're supposed to aim for to max out your score, and
same.
I'm still terrible at it. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen for either of us. My first thing is stay at every deluxe resort. So I know this is a pretty common bucket list for a lot of folks who travel to Walt Disney World often, whether it be all of the resorts or all the resorts in a certain category. I like the deluxe category, but I really just don't think cost-wise we're ever going to stay at every deluxe resort.
Would be cool, though.
It would be cool.
So the second one on my list is riding in the hot air balloon at Disney Springs. I feel like that it would be cool, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel like it's worth the price. All you're doing is getting a view. You're just going up and down. It's not really a thrill ride, which is what I like. And again, it would be a cool view, but at the same time, don't really think it's worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be fun, but I'm not sure that I would be inclined to pay that price just for that view.
Mm-hmm.
My second thing is eat at Victoria and Albert. So this is a very fancy meal that you can get. It is a bunch of courses. It's actually not that insanely priced considering what you are getting in that sort of fine dining experience, but Adam and I live in a major metropolitan area. If we wanted to do Michelin star dining, we could do it at home, quite frankly. So I would be more inclined to do it where we live rather than take all that time to do it at Walt Disney World. And I am a little bit of a picky eater, so I don't know that I would have maybe the best time doing something like Victoria and Albert's. But maybe someday. My palate is growing. I try new foods all the time, so we'll see.
Maybe someday. But yeah, that definitely would be really fancy. But yeah, those tasting menus, if you're not open to the whole experience and willing to pay the upcharge for, 3-star restaurant in Disney, that's just like layering on the fancy.
Yeah.
So the next one on my bucket list that we probably won't ever do is stay in the Polynesian bungalow. Looks really cool, great views, super fancy, very chic experience, but at the same time, it's so outlandishly pricey that I don't actually know if it'd be worth it.
Yeah, I don't think it would be worth it. We don't have enough Disney Vacation Club points to cover that stay at all, so we would have to pay the cash rate, which is maybe even more heinous depending on how you look at it. And yeah, obviously those views of Magic Kingdom are spectacular, but even then your outside portion with a plunge pool, because you're on the water and it's not screened in, I hear there's a lot of bugs, which I would really hate. So price for enjoyment doesn't quite seem like it's there for us.
You could probably go to Fiji and stay in an actual bungalow for the same price. Probably not,
Probably
but
not.
It's actually probably surprising how close.
Third on my list is do a VIP tour. So if you break down the math and you do this tour with the maximum amount of people at the cheapest rate per hour, it ends up being a few $100s per person, which actually isn't terrible and would in theory be something I'd consider. But the key there is that you have to have a ton of people. I think it's 10 people to make that the cheapest price possible. And frankly, I am just a little bit of a control freak, especially when there's a lot of money involved. I always want to feel like I'm really getting my worth out of that money. So I think it would be really unlikely for me to find a group of people that large who would all want to do the VIP tour the same way I would, which is like nonstop, no breaks. We're not sitting down to eat, go, 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 try to get everything done in the day. So because I'm not willing to pay for the VIP tour at the price of just the two of us, or even two of us and maybe two more of our close friends who want a tour that way, I kind of doubt that I'll ever get to experience that VIP tour.
So the next one on my list is a Run Disney experience, specifically the half marathon. I think running through the parks at 5 a.m. would be really cool. But at the same time, the logistics behind that, the fact that I swore off half marathons a couple years ago, probably puts a dent in that bucket list. But I do think it would be really cool, and the medal, I think, would win major points with Jacqueline.
But which half marathon? There's the Wine and Dine, there's
Yeah.
Star Wars, there's Princess, there's probably other ones that I don't know. I don't run, so this is not an interest of mine.
I just, anyone that runs at the parks, I mean, you'd have to work through the schedule.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a specific one on the bucket list, but certainly doing it in costume for the theme would be a lot of fun. But yeah, something would be really cool to do, but not necessarily think it's going to happen.
Yeah, that would definitely be something I think we would probably have to live pretty close to the parks to sign up for a Run Disney event. My fourth one is all about Club 33. So obviously I don't think we're ever going to be members of Club 33. The amount of wealth we would have to accumulate to do that is literally unthinkable. But even just visiting Club 33, you really have to be like in the know with those sort of Disney people.
Yeah.
And we're pretty not in the know of anyone. Like of our close friend group, we're definitely the most Disney obsessed. So I don't think we really have any shot of getting into Club 33 anytime ever.
And my fifth item on my bucket list, but probably not actually end up doing it, Jacqueline, was actually one of yours, which was the behind-the-scenes backstage tour. Logistically, and the fact is it probably one issue, and then second, I'd rather be doing probably other things in the park. But again, seeing what's behind the magic, would be pretty cool.
Yeah. And my last item regarding Walt Disney World, it's a little bit outside Walt Disney World, but I'm going to count it, is live at Golden Oak. So this is the Disney World neighborhood. I think the minimum purchase price to get a home there is like $2 million. Apparently most of the people that live there, that's like just their winter home. They're only there for a few months out of the year. Like that's how rich you are to live in Golden Oak. And like I said, we would just have to be accumulating so much wealth to ever get there. It's really unimaginable.
On the bright side, I think, don't you, if you buy a home there, you're automatically in Club 33?
No.
No?
I don't think so, no.
$2 million, I hope you would be, but okay.
I haven't looked into a lot of the specifics of living in Golden Oak because it's just so far out of our reach, like it's not even worth dreaming about, honestly. But no, I can't imagine they would gift you Club 33 membership.
Alright, well, color me shocked.
The next set of our bucket list are things we think we probably will be able to do either on our next trip or through the next several trips when we end up at Walt Disney World. So the first one around mine is kind of several things packed into one, but I would say dining. There are a lot of dining experiences that we haven't done yet, and I will take full blame for this because I am a creature of habit. So once I find something that I like and enjoy, I'm like, why would we ever go anywhere else? But specifically, I really want to dine at Cinderella's Royal Table and Le Cellier. There's a couple of other sort of signature dining places I'm interested in trying. And part of that for me also is I think psychologically it would feel better for me if I had the dining plan to do those experiences, which we've also never purchased the dining plan.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and piggyback off of that one and just say dining plan Le Cellier. I am a sucker for a great steakhouse, especially if we can get it at a great value. So, wherever you live may have a restaurant week or something like that, Jacqueline and I always use that as an excuse to go to a steakhouse. And, dining plan in my mind, psychologically, is certainly kind of in the same vein. So that's definitely on my bucket list. Super fancy steak in Disney at Epcot, having a great day, end it with a great steak, some wine. Sounds like a really nice time to me.
Yeah, agreed. My number 2 achievable Walt Disney World bucket list item is go to the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot. I've heard really great things about this festival. I think it normally takes place between March and June or so, which is kind of when we don't tend to go to Walt Disney World. We try to stick to cooler months, so even September is a little hot, even October can be a little hot, but November, December, January, February, I think is our sweet spot. But I definitely would be willing to push the trip a little bit once in March, probably, to experience that festival.
And the second item for me is Disney Springs related, is take a ride in the Amphibicar.
Amphicar?
Amphicar. One of those is probably right. I promise. But it's like a little more than $100, I think, to go on that car in the water, and I think it would be a really cool way to kind of see Disney Springs, maybe cool off, sit on the water on a maybe not 98-degree sunny day, but still, I think it would be a lot of fun, and again, it's just a really nice, relaxing, chill time.
My number 3 item is see the standby queue for the Flight of Passage ride. So we have been on Flight of Passage, but only if we're able to snag a fast pass for it. And that queue is not very interesting. If I remember correctly, you spend a lot of it just in a big cement tunnel. Versus apparently the queue in the standby line is really cool, lots of really awesome props and stuff, but I'm just not willing to wait 2 to 3 hours for the ride in general, and especially not just to experience the queue. But someday, perhaps the ride won't be quite as popular and we'll be able to walk through it in, 30 or 40 minutes instead.
Well, probably not anytime soon, sadly. So the next item on my list hopefully doesn't subvert too many expectations, but to actually have a resort day. I don't think I've ever gone to Walt Disney World and have actually spent a day not going to a park or Disney Springs or doing something like that. I think it'd be really cool to just take a day, chill, maybe go pool hop or something, and that would just be the extent of my activities. I think it'd be a great way to recharge, especially if we're there for, at least a week or something.
Yeah, I think in theory our next trip is going to be longer, and if that ends up happening in my head, we will have 1 or 2 resort days.
It's achievable, right? Yeah.
It's achievable. But in the past, like I said, I like to feel like I'm getting the most bang for my buck, which means we go pretty hard at the parks. My 4th item on the achievable Walt Disney World bucket list for us would be go to a water park. So I've never been to Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach, at least not that I remember. I suppose it's possible I went as a kid, like a little kid, and don't remember. But they look really cool. It's kind of like what Adam was saying earlier about how we've never done a resort day. It seems like a thing you do, if you've already experienced so much and outdone yourself at the parks, which I haven't felt like yet.
Right.
But probably in the future, someday I would like to go check either of them out, or maybe both.
Nice. Well, the next one on my list is to do one of those Epcot-themed scavenger hunts. So, every festival has a themed scavenger hunt along with it. And I would consider that a little bit different than like the wine walk, which is kind of, usually a thing you can always do. But one of those seasonal scavenger hunts, you get a prize, try a lot of different food from a lot of pavilions, or find the topiaries, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a lot of fun, a cool side activity to actually try and accomplish. But it's not something we've ever done yet, but hopefully soon.
And my last item would be to stay at every Disney Vacation Club resort that I want to, which is not every single one, although they all do look lovely. There are some that I have a much higher desire to stay at. So like Adam was saying earlier, I really want to stay at the Polynesian. I think we both love just hanging out at the resort. I haven't stayed there as an adult. I think I did stay there as a child, but I basically don't remember it.
Yeah, I would love to be able to go to, drink a tiki drink at Trader Sam's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And be able to roll back into bed.
Every trip we've taken, we always go to Tambu Lounge at least once. It's just, we love that resort. And so even though it's not our home property, I would definitely love to be able to stay at the Poly, and a few of the other DVC resorts are sort of high ranking for me. And I definitely think over the next several Walt Disney World trips, we'll be able to get those in, even though our home resort is Bay Lake Tower.
Yeah, and the last item on my list is to do some kind of golf at Disney World. The resorts there have tons of great golf courses, even foot golf courses. I like kicking a ball, so I think it'd be fun to rent a golf cart and just mess around and have a nice afternoon, and it'd be pretty laid back. And again, it's very similar to the resort day, but this of course would be probably a little bit more active, right? But that would be really fun to go out and kind of experience some of those nice courses and have a nice afternoon.
So those were our Walt Disney World specific bucket lists, both things we think we will eventually get to and things we think we probably will never end up doing, even if we would love to.
Yeah, but you never know, Jacqueline.
That's true. Let me know what your bucket lists are in the comments down below. And if you've done any of the items on our list, please let us know how you felt about them. If you want to talk about anything Walt Disney World, Disney Vacation Club, or Disney in general, you can find me on other social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter at PixieDustPhD.
And feel free to invite us to Club 33.
Yeah, if you're a Club 33 member and, you know, are a very charitable person and want to take us along, I would be so, so thrilled. I hope the rest of your day is absolutely magical, and we'll see you next time at Pixie Dust PhD. Oh!
Okay.
Time out.
Your hair?
It just popped, like, the band just broke.